So we're going to go over to the furthest wall now, which has no windows and no doors. This is a nice easy wall, and we're just going to start from over here on this end and measure out my 16-inch centers that my wall studs are going to be at. All right, so because I have to allow for my overlap on my sheathing that's going to be on this wall here will actually have the sheathing come out 5/8, and then this wall here, it will butt up against that. I have to start my tape 5/8 of an inch over the edge of my bottom wall plate. So we'll start that right here at 5/8. Now I'm going to come up here. Here's my 16-inch marker. I'm going to, that would be the center of where the stud is going to sit. So because the studs are 1.5 inches thick, I'm going to come back 3/4 of an inch and mark for my stud right there, and then basically put an X on this side, and that's the side that the stud will sit on. Then we'll continue to go along here and go up to 32 inches and come back and do exactly the same thing. Now to do the rest, I want my tape tight up against my stud, so I'm just going to come up here and measure back from the 16 to where my line is, which is 1 3/8 inches. That's the same as basically adding 1.5 inches to the 5/8 overlap that I started with. And then just double checking over here to make sure that I've got the right line up. I've got my 32, then counting back 1 full inch, and then 3/8. So that's good. So 1 3/8 with my X, and then 1 3/8 back with my X there. And we're just going to continue to go along the entire length of this bottom wall plate with exactly the same thing. Now I'm going to take a square and I'm just going to draw a line straight across from my bottom plate to my top plate. And then just make sure that we put our X on the same side as we have on our bottom plate. Now my wall height is 9 foot 1 1/8 inch. That's including my bottom plate and my 2 top plates. So with the bottom plate and 2 top plates added together is 4.5 inches. Subtract that from my 9 1/8, and my stud height will be 8 5/8 inches. So I'm going to measure each one of these and draw a line at 8 5/8 inches, and then I'll cut them all with my skill saw, and we'll be ready to put this wall together. All right, so I've got all of my studs cut. I've got them all laid out with my bottom plate, and I am ready to nail it all together. I'm going to be using 3 1/4 inch spikes for this. Well, everyone, the darkness of winter crept up on me really fast. Probably looks a lot brighter in the camera, but it's going to be pitch black here in about 20 to 30 minutes. So that is the first wall framed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting cross bracing between each stud to keep the studs nice and straight and just to add more support to the wall. All right, well, that is the first wall up. I don't know if that was the wisest decision I've made, trying to put that up by myself. It is only a 16-foot wall, but it is a little more awkward being up on top of those 4x6s. I think the next wall that I put up, I'm going to have to get my wife Trisha to give me a hand. I definitely don't want that wall falling over while I'm trying to hold it up and nail it down. And when I get to the second wall, I have to do a little bit more squaring up because everything is basically going to be squared off of this wall and the far corner. The rest of the whole shop will be squared off of that corner. All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, I did not video the raising of the second wall. What I did was I went into this corner over here and I put a framing square down in the corner. I measured 3.5 inches in from the outside of that wall right there, 3.5 inches in on the sill. I lined up my square. I took a chalk line and put it down right there. Put it right along the edge of the framing square, came all the way down to this end and snapped the line. And I was pretty much right on the 3.5 inch mark over here. All right, we're back working on the shop. It's a weekend. I did a little bit of work off camera. As I said last time, we put up that wall back there. And I've started this morning putting up a couple of pieces of the Den's glass fireproof sheathing that I require for my 2 outside walls. All right, after installing a few more of those pieces of Den's glass on the outside, moved on to framing up the third wall. I just finished cutting my header blocks for my windows. So I got 2 2x10s nailed together, and we're gonna nail the 2x4s to either side, or top and bottom, and that's going to form the header of the top window. All right, all the trusses are up now. Got a braced in the middle. They're all nailed in on that side. And then I've got 2 of them nailed in on this side, and the rest I do not. And the reason for that is the top of the wall is bowing out a little bit. It's not a lot. It's about 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. So I just need to pull that wall in a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do to pull these 2 walls together is I've got some ratchet tie downs. I'm going to hook 2 ratchet tie downs together because I don't have one that'll span 16 feet. And I'm going to hook it to the top
of the wall over there. And then the same thing over on this side. I'm going to hook it to the top of the outside of the wall over there. And then I'm just going to draw the two walls together, and being as I'm already nailed into this wall right here, it will only pull on the one side, which will get me where I need to be to tie these trusses in. All right, so after pulling that wall over in the one spot, it lined everything up for the rest. So I just got to go along and nail in those last three trusses, and it is finished as far as tying in on the ends. And then I've got some hurricane straps that I'm going to be putting on tomorrow. So I was leaning over the truss trying to put the subfascia on the back of the shop, and I had my lower rib cage on my left-hand side pushed up against the truss pretty hard, reaching out and over, and I felt something pop or snap, and instantly I felt pain in my lower rib cage going around in my back. And it wasn't bad enough that I thought it was something serious. I thought maybe I had just pulled a muscle or something, but it's turned out to be something a little worse than that. It's definitely a fracture of my rib, and it's progressively gotten worse and more painful. Now, I am going to be having a week off here in about another week and a half. Hopefully by then my ribs will have healed up and I'll be able to continue on. I hope you have all enjoyed the content of this video. Well, thank you all for coming out and watching. Please subscribe, leave some comments, and I'll catch you all next video.